Okay, I'll tell you. So the question is, what's a typical day for me? Well, a typical day is very untypical, really. What time I wake up in the morning depends entirely on what time I went to bed the night before. And one of my passion happens to be music. And one of the groups that I like to listen to, of course, is this group. And I think you should give them a listen. They're on YouTube, of course. And what I love about this group, and I will stay up until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning listening to this group, and I just love them. Playing for Change is doing an awful lot of good things all over the world. But my love for this group is the diversity. I may not be able to pronounce it, but I'll tell you what, I do appreciate what they do. So when you listen to this group, and we're talking about people that are with them that you're probably familiar with. Ringo Starr, Bono, YouTube, people from the Grateful Dead, Keith Richards, Bob Marley. I mean, the list is that long. They all want to be a part of this group. So I listen to them late at night, and because I'm hearing impaired and I live alone, I rack up the sound. It's one of my indulgences. Anyway, so I wake up in the morning, whatever time I wake up, and I happen to live by myself, so I can do that. I have the luxury of doing that. And I look out my window, which is probably the most beautiful window in the world, because I look at the birds and the wildlife, and I like that. I like to feel as if I'm a part of it all. And of course, I buy wildlife food and I buy bird food and I keep them supplied. Then I will read my mail. Now, you know, people write to me about different things, and I will make it a point to answer their letters. And the reason why people enjoy, I think, people know that I am non-judgmental. I have no man-made moral codes that I follow, and I just do not fan the flames of guilt and shame. To me, there is nothing a human being can do that they should ever feel guilty or shame about if, in fact, they're acting naturally. That's my personal theory. People who do things that they're ashamed of are usually trying to please somebody else, or they're trying to live a life that somebody else suggests. Okay? So, you know, from very sensitive subjects. A lady asked me the other day, what do I think of abortion? I just flat out told her, quite frankly, and I know that I may come across as being stupid and naive, but I cannot presume to know what a woman is going through when she's experiencing a pregnancy that she did not want. Now, I know about the biblical references and all that. I know about all that. But my moral code does not come from sacred books or saints and sages. I just know that that's something between the woman, her conscience, and her doctor, and I have no business getting involved with that. Besides, when it comes to morality, the same people who are talking a lot about it will never adopt a child. Never adopt a child. This white woman said, look, she does not believe in white families adopting black children. This black woman also said she does not believe in white people adopting black children. To me, love is love. It's a 4-letter word that has no boundaries or borders. Okay, so I just throw it out there so that you know. And when people ask my advice, I tell them based upon what I know, not about moral codes. Slavery, for example. Slavery is still legal in the United States of America. It's disguised as the 13th Amendment. To me, slavery under any circumstances is immoral. Okay? Our legal system is not based on justice, but is based upon political laws geared to maintain a system that is not always just. So now you know. So I also go through my phone calls. Now, because I'm hearing impaired, I very rarely will listen to, very rarely will take a phone message, because the people that are sincere, the people that are calling who are sincere, will always leave a text or a voicemail. The spam calls and the other nonsense calls will not. So I go through my phone calls, and those who warrant a return call, I will almost always make it a point to return your call as soon as possible. So now you know. My email, phone calls, and I always respond to the comments on my videos and on my Facebook page if it is so warranted. Now, finally, I want to remind you that the pictures that I take are offered to you free. Free. You go to this site and you can download the pictures, or you can go to my Facebook page and you can download the pictures, and they're free for your own personal or non-profit organization that is conducive to my own code of ethics. Okay? In other words, if your non-profit organization is being disguised as a political group, hate group, that is being disguised as a non-profit, I do not want you to use my pictures. There are other sources, okay? But for your own personal use and for non-profit that I go along with, they're free for your use. Of course, I do not want you to use my photographs in any commercial way at all. None. But I do make exceptions, but you have to write to me, and I do that on a case-by-case basis. The lady in Ireland wanted to use one of my pictures for a book on poetry. Well, it's going to be a commercial enterprise, but her poems are always having to do with humanity. And I absolutely agree that she could use my pictures free of cost to publish her books. There are a couple of people right now that are publishing books, and they're using my photographs. There are nonprofits that are using my photographs, and I really, really like what they're doing. So there you have it. So, my typical day, I try to walk 6,000 steps. I don't always succeed. I try to drive for about 10-15 miles, because when I drive, my car is a very quiet car. And when I drive, I can process ideas while I'm driving. I do pay attention to the road, but I process ideas. My cousin Leslie Butler, who provided a lot of the music that I use, is the same way. He likes to get in his car and he likes to drive, and he processes musical ideas when he drives. So, keep sending me your questions. I will do my best to answer each and every one. And look, don't be afraid to be critical of what I do, because I'm the first to tell you I don't know everything I ought to know. But you do. So I appreciate people who think for themselves.